HCTV Sports is supported by the Hastings Public House. Memories made local.
First goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin.
Oh, was that beautiful? Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
Doblowy! Touchdown Raiders!
Hello everyone, and welcome to HCTV Sports for some Section 3 4A Minnesota State High School League postseason girls basketball. HCTV Sports is here for the 6th-seeded Hastings Raiders at the 3rd-seeded Eastview Lightning. I'm Reagan Hooverman. I'll be on play-by-play tonight, and right now is a beautiful opportunity to introduce my broadcast partner for the night, Owen Ely. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. Yeah, good as time as any. Very happy to be here. The dynamic duo is back, and we're back for a big game here tonight, Reagan.
It's great to be here, and is there anything better than postseason basketball? I don't know if there is. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be a good game. Like I said, 6th-seeded Hastings Raiders. They enter tonight 17-9 overall. And actually, we'll take a look at the bracket here. You see Hastings and Eastview at the bottom. The winner of tonight's game will play either Park or Egan. And then up top, you see the 1 and the 8 seed and the 4 and the 5. So just a quick look at the bracket. Owen, you've seen the Raiders a few times this year. What kind of needs to happen if they want to leave here and advance to the semifinals?
Yeah, well, real quick before that, I want to say what a gigantic difference that would be if Park manages to pull the upset in that. I mean, you might have a very clear path for the Raiders if Park ends up winning that. But to answer your question, I think really it comes down to consistency and basketball. The name of the game is going on runs and not letting your opponents go on runs, and that's really kind of been the difference between the Raiders winning and losing this season. They've had tremendous offensive stretches. I really do believe that the Raiders, for any 10-minute period, could beat or hang with any team in the state. It's just consistency. So everybody needs to do their job. We need a big game from McVickers. We need Strain to step up in the paint on both sides of the court, and they just need to make high percentage plays, and that's basically it.
Love the analysis, and we'll take a quick break here as we get the national anthem right before tip-off.
In America, it is tradition to stand, remove your hats, and face the American flag. When the playing of our national anthem, please rise and honor America as we play the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets and bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
So a beautiful rendition of the national anthem right there, and we are going to get some starting lineups here momentarily. Just real quick touch on it before they get going with that. Hastings enters tonight 17-9 overall, 11-3 in the conference. Runner-up in the Metro East, while Eastview finished 13-13 overall, 500, 9-8 in conference play for the South Suburban Conference. That was good for 6th place. And we'll see some starters here for the Raiders. We'll get Natalie Kafflish. We'll get Lindsay Wagner. Emma Baker, of course, the 5'11 junior shooting guard. Number 20, Haley Strain, going to be playing inside the paint, power forward / center.
Really the difference maker in this game if she has a good or a bad performance.
And, of course, point guard, 5'10 point guard, Keegan McVicker, just a sophomore. So some young players in the starting lineup for the Raiders.
Yeah, she's a Russell Westbrook if Russell Westbrook could play defense and actually contributed to winning basketball.
If Russ limited turnovers, shot it somewhat efficiently.
Well, yeah, that as well, and could hit the three. I mean, she's really a five-tool player. I mean, she's the best player on the court, with bar none.
So we'll get starters for Eastview, number 12, Caitlin Schaefer, the team's leading scorer coming into tonight. Caitlin Han, the senior guard. Number 21, Kylie Smith, the senior forward, coming in at 5'10". Maya Mall, sophomore guard. And the 5th and final starter, Savannah Gardner, the junior forward. So it's going to be a battle down low between Gardner and Strain of Hastings. I think rebounding will be a key for tonight, just looking at the stats on MN Girls Basketball Hub. Hastings, 38 rebounds a game, nearly 4 blocks a game. That's some serious defense, both on the glass and in finding a way to alter shots.
And crazily enough, I think their leading rebounder, or at the very least the number 2, is Keegan McVicker. And she's the primary ball handler, so really gets it done. There's a look at head coach Trent Hansen. Just worked his magic. I mean, this was a team that, switched coaches like a third of the way, quarter of the way through the season. It was a team that was losing a lot more games than they were winning, and they've just become more consistent and certainly put up a prettier record than Eastview, which begs the question why we're here on the road. And you have to wonder how that's going to impact the Raiders, thinking that maybe they were going to play a home game. Now they're on the road. You got to change your routine, so we'll see if they take that in stride or not.
And you got to think, if anything, obviously you never want to play in a hostile road environment, but feeling like you obviously should have been the home team in a contest like this might fire you up a little bit. So Raiders will get it off the tip. It'll be McVicker pass into the post. Now back to McVicker. Top of the key, three-pointer for Wagner. Won't go. Rebound fought for. Ends up in lightning hands as Hahn corrals it and dishes off to Schaefer. Now to the right side wing. Back to top of the key. This is Gardner. Now swung around left side. Looking for pass down to the low block. Kicked out top of the key. Wide open three won't go. And it's going to stay here. Hastings couldn't quite corral the rebound.
And that is going to be one of the biggest things to watch for this Raiders defense. They run a zone defense, and one area in which that they've really struggled is stopping threes from the wing.
Inbound pass blocked. There's one of the 4 blocks I was talking about just a few minutes ago. Raiders off to a good start defensively as they'll come down and set up the offense. This is Strain, now swung over to McVicker. Now into the post. Layup won't go. That one's rejected out of bounds. Baker couldn't quite finish, but it will stay Raider possession. So Kafflish set to inbound. Throws it out to the high post. Now into the low block. Reverse layup. Oh, beautiful finish right there from Baker.
And Baker's going to have to be somebody that steps up into this game. I mean, they have their big 2, but if there's a big 3, it's certainly going to include Baker.
Smith, the mid-range jumper. That one won't go off. Back iron. Rebound McVicker. Working it in transition. Gathers, tries to dish off to the short corner. Right back into the post. Layup off the iron. Won't go. Eastview corrals and now goes the other way. Schaefer dishes off to the wing to Smith. Now back top of the key to Schaefer. Mall thought about the 3, decides to pull the trigger, won't go. Rebound ends up Eastview. And they'll set up the offense.
have to play tighter defense on the wing.
A couple of offensive rebounds already for the Lightning. Second chance opportunities. That one poked loose. Raiders taking it the other way. This is McVicker in transition. One-on-one, gathers, layup won't go. Rebound fought for, and the putback is good. Got Strain making her presence felt already. 4-0 Raiders.
I think a big difference for Strain offensively as the season went on is earlier in the season she would back down and try to shoot spinning shots in the post, and they were really low percentage. But ever since she started facing towards the basket, she's a good shooter, so her percentage has certainly gone up.
Schaefer going to take it off the bounce. Layup off the glass won't go. Rebound goes Baker. So McVicker calls out the play. Action near the high post. Now to the wing. Little off-ball screen goes back to McVicker. Layup, contact, and the foul! McVicker absorbs contact, finishes, and she'll go to the stripe for one. Way to stay on balance right there. Just soft touch off the glass.
Yeah, that is impressive to maintain your balance like that. And, you know, we got one of the best free throw shooters on the court right now for Hastings.
And she converts 3 points the old-fashioned way, 7-0 Raiders. This is about as good as first 3 minutes as you could have hoped for if you're a Raider fan. So Smith on the right wing. And it looks like we've got a foul call from off the ball. They're gonna get Wagner for a hold as we see a shot of the boys going on the road to show some support to the Lady Raiders.
Well, Reagan, it might say Eastview on the court and on the side, and there might be a Lightning logo at the center, but if you look at the composition of this crowd, it's 50-50.
A lot of Raider fans here tonight in their blue and gold. Lightning gonna spot up a corner three. That one won't go. And rebound goes McVicker.
You either live or die by the three, and Eastview is absolutely floundering from beyond the arc to start this game.
Scoreless through the first 4 and change as the Raiders have a 7-point advantage with possession. Pass picked off. Transition layup, hard foul. So a chance for the Lightning to get on the board here. That foul is going to go against McVicker in transition. Pass just telegraphed.
Yeah, you saw that coming from a mile away, and then you compound the mistake by, committing the foul underneath the basket. You're up 7-0. This is a picture-perfect start. They got their first point on the board. You really don't want to do anything that's going to allow Eastview to come back into this game because, like I said, it all comes down to runs, and the Raiders are on quite a good run right now, but we've seen them get off to good starts and kind of let their opponent work their way back in, so hopefully they can remain strong through that mistake.
So Torrey connects on the pair of free throws. Lightning are on the board. But Raiders once again on the attack. This is Kaflish now to the left side. Swung to the corner. Now back to McVicker. She's going to spot up for a three from the wing. That one won't go. Rebound fought for. And it's bounced on the baseline. It'll stay with the Raiders. Baker set to inbound. Looking for something on the low block. Not there. Instead, opposite way. Oh, beautiful reverse layup from McVicker.
And her teammates were not doing any help. They were standing still, and luckily they managed to thread the needle on that one.
Not a lot of action on that inbound pass, but it works out. Three-pointer sent via airmail. Rebound goes Baker.
They are allowing a lot of three-point shots from the wing, and if those start hitting, that could spell doom for Hastings.
So far, so good. 13 and change here to go in the first half. Pass into the low block, turnaround layup, and Strain's going to go to the line for a pair. As we see a replay of that last inbound where McVicker scores.
There is just nobody but McVicker trying to get open. So that, normally you have your first option, your second option. There was only one option. It was either that or a turnover.
Fortunately for the Raiders, it worked out. Usually on those inbound passes, it's a lot of screens. It's a lot of movement to try to get somebody open. A little stagnant right there, but it works out for Hastings.
Pretty hard to get open if you don't move, unless you just plan on mossing somebody. And 2 fouls already for Hastings. Not a big concern. I will say the fouls have gotten more and more plentiful as the season has gone on. It's not a team that that's a lane violation right there.
Yeah, lane violation. That's correct.
This is not a team where they've allowed their opponents to get into the bonus, but no individual player is in too much trouble, but it's obviously still something they need to cut down on.
And that second chance on the free throw won't go either. Rebound Gardner. And this is Torrey crossing midcourt, trailing by 7, 9-2 here with 13 to go. Top of the key, decides to pull. That's Schaefer. That one's way off the mark. Raiders trying to push the pace in transition, and now they'll slow it down.
Now, this is very interesting because anytime they don't have McVicker on the court, she's the only ball handler, so they don't really have an offense without McVicker, so I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out, and not very good on the first offensive possession.
Loose ball, turned it over. Torrey going the other way, swung around left side. Little spin move into the paint. Now to the corner, three-pointer for sent via airmail. They'll call it a pass. They're going to call that a pass.
I mean, what is Eastview? I'm not keeping track, but what are they, 0 of 8 from the three-point line? It's something obscene.
I agree. I mean, nothing connecting from long early, and they have not been scared to pull the trigger on it. Hastings nearly turns it over. It'll stay on this side of the floor. Cheney now to Baker. Little pick and pop near the top of the key. Oh, good defense here from Eastview. Raiders, and that's going to be a travel.
So McVicker is set to come into the game. That's very concerning to me because that was 2 possessions where you did nothing with McVicker on the bench. It tells me that McVicker has to play every minute of this game because you don't have the quarterback of this offense if she's not on the court. It seems like all they can do is hand the ball off, but they lose that passing ability with McVicker out.
McVicker, clearly the leader of this team, 15.3 points a game, and she shoots pretty efficiently for a high school player. 35% shooting clip from beyond the arc. That's pretty good as the three-point woes continue for the Lightning.
I mean, she's just so impressive, and she's been such a good player since she was even an 8th grader, kind of growing into this role. She plays like a senior. She is definitely a player that you'll see play at the next level. I don't know whether that's D3 or D2 or whatever it is, but, I mean, I'd like to see her be a Falcon, but,
That would be nice. McVicker goes to the rack. Layup won't go, but she'll go to the line for 2. And I think what's been so impressive, I mentioned her three-point percentage, 35% from deep. She scores just over 15 a game. But it's defense, it's the composure. It's like it's a great reference. I mean, it's a quarterback play, right? I mean, she runs the entire offense. And she's just good in every aspect of a true 5-tooler.
I mean, there are a lot of so the Raiders use every single player on their team. Everybody plays, but it seems like McVicker is the glue. It seems like these pieces individually, as we've seen, they kind of struggle, but when she's in there, she gets the best out of everybody.
So McVicker 2 for 2 at the stripe. Now an 11-4 advantage for Hastings. The Lightning have not gotten out to a hot shooting start. Have probably missed, I would guess, 6 or 7 consecutive three-pointers. Going to dump the ball into the post. Now kick back out to the wing. Little jab step going baseline. Now into the high post. Thought about the 3 going off the bounce. Kick back out. Good defense here from the Raiders. Schaefer going to pull the trigger on the 3. That one won't go. Rebound. And we've got a loose ball foul.
Yeah, the Raiders play a really tight defense close to the basket, but they give a tremendous amount of space on the perimeter.
So So they're going to say loose ball fouls going against the Raiders. It will stay here for Eastview. So Schaefer inbounds. Now to the left side with Maul. Maul's going to take it off the dribble. That's a beautiful layup off the glass. So Maul gets on the board with her first bucket of the night. Now McVicker setting up the offense. Little step back through the legs. Three-pointer won't go. Rebound goes Lightning. They're going to work it in transition.
I like the ambition, but not a very high percentage play.
Little inside post move, and we've got a foul call. And we'll see who this one goes against. They're going to get McVicker, so that will be her second foul with more than 10 minutes to go here in the first half. You got to assume she's going to leave the ball game.
That's concerning. We'll see. Well, maybe we'll see the foul. I don't know. Just because somebody falls down doesn't mean a foul was committed. I mean, Trent Hansen wasn't too thrilled with that, and he had a front row view. Let's see if we can get another look at it here. It's all ball. Maybe they called it on the hip-to-hip contact. A pretty weak foul, in my opinion.
So now Eastview going to throw on the press and immediately nearly force a turnover.
Looking like Byron Buxton out there in center field.
Now we didn't have, none of our players got injured on that play.
Well, fair enough.
Eastview's they're gonna get the steal. Trailing now just by 3. Lead cut 11-8, still favoring the Raiders. 10 minutes to go here in the first half. McVicker playing with 2 fouls. That could play pivotal in the next couple of minutes. If she picks up a third, you might not see her the rest of the half.
If she picks up a third, I don't want to be pessimistic, but there might be a big Eastview run coming if other players don't step up.
But until then, the Raiders will play with her on the floor. Only 2 fouls, nearly trapped on the floor. Raiders a couple times gotten away with some risky passes. Now down low into the block, kicked back out. And this is Swanson, now swung over to Notch. Ball fought for. We've got a jump. And Eastview starting to get some momentum.
So this is what I'm talking about. Hastings got off to a good start, and you know, slowly but very surely, Eastview is coming back in. It's the consistency. And the Raiders have been a team that has gotten very flustered under pressure, whether or not it's heavy defensive pressure, whether or not it's, I hesitate to even say this because I don't want to see it, but we all know that it might be coming at some point, the full court press, which they have struggled with mightily.
And you got to think with just with the Eastview staff, if you see a team that struggles with the press, you see that on film. Bouncing around, three-pointer nearly went.
I mean, I'm not kidding. When a full court press is implemented, it's an automatic 10-point run.
Yeah, if a team can't handle it, it can swing the game easily.
And it's not unbeatable. It's just when the Raiders are playing their basketball and they decide the tempo, they play very well. But when the opposing team decides the tempo, when they put on pressure, they kind of fold at times.
And you have to dictate the tempo. I mean, this is the postseason. You came in 17-9 record compared to Eastview with 13-13. You should be the one dictating this tempo, even though you're in their house. And another turnover for the Raiders. Lightning going the other way. Pass to the high post, now kicked out top of the key, swung to the corner. Little jab step and too many steps.
Well, a fortunate bounce for the Raiders. Try to capitalize on it here and stop this run. And you got to play with a chip on your shoulder. In reality, I mean, we're supposed to be unbiased, which we try to do, but there's no way Hastings should be on the road at Eastview. I mean, this is a better team. They did better in the regular season. They shouldn't be here. They should have a chip on their shoulder. If anything, they should be on the road at Park. But to be the number 6 seed in this section is ridiculous.
Wagner's three-pointer won't go. Lightning working it in transition. Layup. A little too much sauce on that one.
There are not 5 better teams than the Raiders in this section if they play their brand of basketball.
McVicker going to try to take it off the screen. Now to the corner, going baseline. Layup is good. Nice little move to blow by the defender there from Baker, the 5'11 junior.
And that's the thing, when this offense is flowing, you really do have to account for all 5 players. I mean, you know, every player on this team is capable.
Eastview three-pointer won't go. Offensive rebound, layup. Can't quite convert.
I mean, you got to stop shooting these 3-pointers at some point. They have left like 21 points on the board with missed 3-pointers. I mean, you got to just stop.
McVicker corralling, layup a little too high off the glass, going to get her own rebound and set it back up.
I mean, they could build a wall from here to Hastings with all the bricks they've been laying.
Oh man, and that's turned over. A steal for Vanessa Wright, now swung over to fours. Nice job from Schaefer. Oh, beautiful swing pass to the short corner. Attacking off the dribble is Maul, the sophomore guard, and the Lightning to within 3.
Yeah, the spacing a little weird there. You can't leave somebody with half the court wide open.
Little slip screen. That one's turned over, and we've got a foul call. Raiders compounding some of the mistakes now, turning it over and then committing a foul. It's a nice swing pass, and it's a nice move just to create a little space right there on the replay.
And it's so easy to compound your mistakes. It's the easiest thing to do, to go out there, you know, not be happy with how the previous play went and commit a foul or, you know, run into somebody like that. And you can't do that. You can't do that, especially in the sections. You can't do that.
So this is Tori, the sophomore point guard, crossing midcourt. 6 minutes and change. Raiders clinging to a 3-point lead in this low-scoring defensive affair. Schaefer going to pull from the mid-range. And it's going to go off the Raiders. It will stay here.
And they're giving McVicker a rest, so I believe, well, Mara Jackson's on the court, and she's listed as a point guard, so I would have to imagine that the junior would be the primary ball handler here, but we'll see if they can do something, if they can get the stop here, what they can do on offense.
Eastview passing up the layup, kicking it back out. Interesting choice there. Wide open for 3. That one won't go. Raiders just daring them to shoot the threes right now.
They're lucky that they can't hit one to save their life in the first half. If they start hitting, I mean, they're gonna overtake them in the scoreboard.
Still nearly 6 minutes to play. Bonus quickly approaching here. Teams have a couple more fouls to give, but
you know, like I said, you live or die by the 3. It just takes one shooter to start getting hot, and if they get a hot shooter, I mean, they could be up by double digits, and just like that, lickety-split.
Especially in a game like this where neither team has really found any offensive rhythm through the first 12 minutes or so. Little backdoor pass on the baseline, too many steps. And turnovers starting to add up here for the Raiders.
And that's 3 possessions without McVicker where they have yet to score a bucket. I mean, you have to do something without McVicker. She can't play the entire game.
So this is Smith now kicking to the corner. That's Hahn connecting on the first 3-pointer for the Lightning. Knotted up at 13s.
That is the scariest thing you could possibly see if you're a fan of the Hastings Raiders.
Now Hastings at one point led by 7 early. Game knotted up and just nothing going offensively. Another turnover. You got to slow things down and try to find a rhythm here. Run whatever set play you're comfortable with. Get a bucket and get back into the flow of things, which they were in early. I mean, we've seen it already tonight. But they got to find a way to get back there.
I don't know if they run plays without McVickers. It just kind of seems like they're just free-balling it.
This is Tori going off the bounce. Kicked out to the wing for a wide-open 3-pointer. That one rims out. And it's going the other way.
Oh, so lucky because Strain touched that and it went out of bounds. And for no reason, number 45 ended up touching that and gave Hastings the possession.
Tight defense. I mean, not too often you see teams extending their defense out near half court.
It works against the Raiders. For whatever reason, it works.
And we see McVicker head to the scorer's table to check back in.
You have to. What's the alternative?
Top of the key three-pointer for Gardner. That one won't go. Rebound Raiders now trying to work it in transition to the wing. Trying to get it into the post. It's not there. Backdoor cut, and they're going to jump it up.
And you know, this is the downside of McVicker always being the primary ball handler, which I think is overwhelmingly a good thing, but the rest of the team kind of struggles at passing the ball. And, you know, I've talked about this with Hunter when he's been on the broadcast and we've seen the full court press implemented. It just takes a tic-tac-toe. It just takes one or two quick passes to create space and break the press.
Couldn't have said it any better. I mean, if a team can break the press, it's immediately layups. And we might be seeing a layup here as the Lightning pick off another pass. And the 6-foot junior forward, Savannah Gardner, is going to go to the line.
I mean, like it's not a cheat code. Otherwise, every team would run it. It's like a nickel defense. How would you beat a nickel defense? Well, we're going to probably run the ball because So it's just a style of playing. It's very beatable, just like any other style. It's just I don't know if it comes down to practice or you know the aforementioned pressure that I was talking about, where it just works to great effect. I mean, it truly is the Achilles heel of this team, because you look at a game like this. This game is probably going to be decided by 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and if you allow a 10-0 run because of a full court press or pressure on defense, I mean that's the game right there.
They're playing trap press right now. I mean, the pressure is on as Strain is going to settle the Raiders down and give them a 15-14 lead here with 3 and change to go in the first half.
I would love to see Strain have a big second half, because it doesn't seem like Eastview would have the size to stop her if she plays her game.
Wild layup won't go for Mall. Raiders working in transition. This is Notch to Cheney. Cheney going to go off the bounce into the short corner. That one's tied up. And another jump ball. This might be a race to. If you get to 35, you probably win tonight.
Yeah, well, yeah, easier said than done, but yeah.
No, that's true. I mean, you don't see too many playoff games, scored in the 30s. But a win is all that matters. A win would advance either team. And shot won't go. Rebound Raiders.
There is no such thing as an ugly win.
It's true, but not in the playoffs, certainly. Baker going to dish to Swanson. Now on the left side wing, back to the corner. Top of the key, thought about spotting up, too many steps. And I'd love to have I should have been keeping track of the turnovers. I mean, we might be at 10 already.
Well, you'd run out of ink.
Oh, man.
Keep track of the missed three-pointers for Eastview, you'd run out of paper as well.
So this is Torrey, and pass picked off, going the other way. That's Swanson with a nice defensive effort. Wild layup off the glass for Baker, but she's going to go to the line for a pair.
Yeah, and she's lucky. You have to have hustle on those fast breaks. I mean, that Eastview defense was taking their time getting back. You get that ball, you got to run with it. Well, we'd like to thank Hastings Public House for supporting HCTV Sports. Hastings Public House, memories made local.
Might have to meet there after the ball game.
Yeah, well, it's back on the way to Hudson.
That it is. And we're going to get a 30-second timeout here, so we'll have a chance to talk about it. Just in terms of how these teams were playing coming into tonight's game, especially with the seeding, which obviously so many people from Hastings were frustrated with. If you look at the Raiders, they won 9 of their last 11 games coming into the postseason. They were playing really well. They were as hot as maybe any team in the section. And if you look on the other side, Eastview lost 2 of their final 3 games in the regular season. Their only win came against the 1-24 Apple Valley squad, which was a 71-9 win. So if you look at how these teams are playing down the stretch of the regular season, I mean, Hastings was playing better basketball, bar none.
Oh, unquestionably. See, I thought this was a 30-second timeout to talk about Hastings Public House and what we were going to order after the game. But, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's probably the hottest team in the section. I mean, you know, Eastview plays some tough teams, so obviously, you know, it's understandable that their record is 500 and they're better than their record shows. But, yeah, this was a team that didn't start off great, but, you know, generally won a lot more games at the end of the season than they did at the beginning.
So Baker converts her 4th point of the night. Raiders 3-point advantage, 17-14, under 2 minutes to play here in the first half of this Section 3 4A high school postseason game. And this will be the Lightning dumping it down into the post, now kicked out to the free throw line. To the wing. Little jab step going baseline, runner won't go. Rebound fought for, kicked out for a three-pointer. Got them all.
And that's one of those things where there's 3 chances to stop that. You could stop them from shooting the ball the first time. You have to get the defensive rebound. You can't allow the second point shot after. I mean, there's just 3 individual moments in that play where the Raiders lost and Eastview won to allow that.
And uncharacteristic for the Raiders. I mean, they came in tonight, I think I mentioned it earlier, 38 rebounds a game. They've been so good this season on the glass, and to see them struggle for the better part of, 17 minutes here has been surprising to say the least.
And they have tall guards. McVicker is tall. Strain is tall. She's good at getting rebounds. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we probably have seen less of Keegan McVicker in this first half for whatever reason. Hopefully she'll be very well rested for the start of the second half when obviously they'll need her the most. But yeah, it is a little puzzling.
After the missed free throw on the 1-and-1 opportunity for the Raiders, the Lightning turn it over. Knotted up 17s here. Just over 60 seconds to play in this first half. Probably a first half that neither team was expecting, quite honestly. Raiders never found a rhythm. Lightning being ice cold essentially from the three-point line.
You know, assuming that the score stays knotted up at halftime or relatively even, I think it's a first half where both teams kind of go, we could win this game. I think both teams feel really good about the first half because I think they feel if they just make a couple adjustments here and there, they could easily beat the other team. So it's kind of funny because I think both teams will be feeling that.
I agree, and both teams should feel that. I mean, if you're an Eastview fan, you say, man, if we just hit a couple of three-pointers, we might be up by double digits. And if you're the Raiders, you say, if we stop turning it over, we might be up by double digits.
Or abandon the threes. If they just abandon the threes and just go for layups, surely they would make more than 0 points.
And loose ball continues to be fought for. We've got a foul call. And it looks like we're going to go to the bonus here. So we get a shot there of head coach Trent Hansen talking to Emma Baker.
He is such a good coach, and he has so much on his plate, too, with being the athletic director. Anytime they call a timeout, it's so impactful because what he does during the timeout, what he does during half. Like, I'm so interested to see how this team plays to start the second half because he's such a master of adjustments.
So you got to think Eastview might hold for the last shot here with 10 seconds to play in the half. This is Gardner. A handoff now to the corner. Torrey back over to Fours, who's going to pull the trigger. Three-pointer comes up short, and we're going to go into halftime. Knotted up at 17s. The race to 35 is alive and well here at Eastview. I mean, just what, I know we talked about it there for a second, but just really quick before we go to break, just some takeaways from the first half.
Well, like I said, I think both teams feel like they could win this game if Eastview just starts making some threes, or if they abandon that and just kind of go for, the pick and roll or shooting mid-range. I think they could win this game pretty easily. I think the Raiders, if they could just play more consistently, keep McVicker on the court, I think this is a very winnable game. The Raiders are a very frustrating team to watch, and in a way that's a good thing because there is an expectation that they will win the game. They're a team with a very high potential, And we've seen them play stifling defense, only allowing 10 points to Apple Valley. We've seen them put up a bunch of points, but to consistently put it all together in one package in one game has been, a bit of a struggle for Hastings.
Tight ball game for the first half. Keep it right here. We'll be back on HCTV Sports.
Push that trash that way, not this way. Come on.
Oh, hey there. Do you like HCTV?
That's one small step for Hastings and one giant leap for community television.
Do you want a custom video that promotes your business or organization and gives you the results you're looking for? As an HCTV sponsor, our staff will work with your business or organization to create a custom video to promote your brand. You also have an option of getting a shout out in every sporting event we cover. And that's 3 points for your business. So support HCTV today! Go to hastingstv.org/sponsors for more information or to give a one-time donation.
I was talking to Trey, and he told me that vaping can cause permanent bronchitis and other permanent lung conditions.
Like what?
Hey guys.
Hey, it's Dr. Fang.
So, again, I couldn't help but overhear your question. And so one of those conditions is called emphysema, which at its basic level is an inflammation of the air sacs in your lungs, which help facilitate oxygen exchange. And you can imagine if that's not working, it's gonna be really hard to breathe. And unlike other chronic lung diseases, emphysema gets progressively worse over time. You may have to wear a mask that is tied to an oxygen tank to get what we call supplemental oxygen just to get around to do your daily chores.
Wow. Thanks, Dr. Fang. I don't think a lot of people have heard that before. You made everything really clear.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilski, Chief of Police in Hastings, Minnesota. Fentanyl and other opioids are here in Hastings. Our police officers, EMTs, and firefighters respond to dozens of overdoses and poisonings every year. To date, for 2022, Hastings Police Department officers have responded to 45 reported overdoses in our community, and you can help. Call 911 if a friend or loved one is overdosing. Minnesota's Good Samaritan Law, also known as Steve's Law, provides limited protection to people who call 911 and or administer naloxone in response to a suspected or known drug overdose. You can report drug problems anonymously as well. Use our TIP 411 system to make a confidential report. Text the word Hastings and your tip to 847-411. For additional resources, contact United Way's 24/7 helpline by dialing 211 to find resources in and near Hastings. Remember, one pill can kill. Let's work together to stop opioid overdoses and poisonings in our community.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to HCTV Sports. We're here in Eastview for a quarterfinal matchup between the number 6 seeded Hastings Raiders and the 3rd seeded Eastview Lightning. This is the 3-4A Minnesota State High School League postseason. And interesting first half, knotted up at 17s apiece, low-scoring kind of defensive affair. What does Hastings have to do, as we get a shot of the broadcast guys right there, thank you. What does Hastings have to do if they're going to find a way to win this ballgame?
Well, they have to play a little better under pressure. You got to cut down on the turnovers, like you said. I think they committed 10-ish turnovers in the first half. You commit 20 in a game, there's no way you're winning that game. So, just maintaining possession, like I said, letting McVicker run this offense. She's probably going to have to play just about every single minute in this second half. They rested her a little bit towards the end of that first half, so she should be able to do that. She needs to have a good second half, which I know she'll have. The rest of the team needs to step up, and they just need to make high.
And I think we've lost some audio equipment there. We'll get Owen back momentarily here. Luckily, we've still got about 10 seconds left before we get going real quickly. Just scoring leaders. Hastings, McVicker has 7. And for Eastview, Hahn has 6, a pair of 3-pointers for the senior guard. So 18 minutes here to decide the season for these two ball clubs. And it will be Raiders with the first possession. Inbound goes to McVicker. And Wagner's going to have it, tries to swing it around to McVicker. Into the post, little turnaround layup. Nice touch right there from Strain.
And that's what I've been saying. When she faces the basket, she is a tremendous offensive threat.
She's been so composed tonight in a game that's been chaotic, to say the least. If you're a Raider fan, you probably want to see more of her in the second half here. Eastview is going to queue up a three. That one rims out. Offensive rebound. Little runner. That one won't go. Offside iron. Rebound Raiders.
Yeah, these three-pointers, man, they're the X factor in this game. They haven't really been yet, but if they ever decide to start making some of those, it would not be good for Hastings.
So this is McVicker. Beautiful pass into the low post. That's Baker, the junior small forward, converting the layup, and the advantage is up to 4.
I mean, I could just spend the rest of this broadcast complimenting Keegan McVicker. I mean, everything she does is tremendous. Her court vision is just impeccable.
It's excellent. She's been so effective here tonight, leading the team with 7 points. Strain has 6. Baker has 6, and a bucket right there for the Lightning. That's Schaefer, Eastview's leading scorer, coming in, averaging nearly 11 a game. Now McVicker on the right side wing, trying to get it into the low post again. And we've got a foul call. Raiders, and credit to you, you called it. I mean, you talked about Trent Hansen making some adjustments at halftime, going to the post early, which was so effective. That's how they scored in the first half, and going right to it the first 3 possessions of the second half.
Yeah, I would love to see him. I'm kind of uncertain about whether or not he'll be the long-term coach or if they find somebody else, but I would love to see him stay as the head coach of this program, because what he's done in less than a season is crazy.
McVicker for 3 from the top of the key. And when she starts cooking, it gets a little scary for the opposition. First player into double figures tonight. That was her 10th.
Oh, there's no question. She could take over this game like that.
This is Gardner off the bounce. Swung to the corner. Now skip pass to the other corner. Three-pointer rims out. Rebound fought for. That's Strain.
And I know it's only been 2 minutes, but the defensive rebounding looks a lot more fundamental here to start the second half.
They've been crisp through the first 2.5 minutes here. Credit to the Raiders. This is Wagner swinging to McVicker, a little behind the back dribble. Now to the corner. Kafflish. Now back to McVicker. Looking for the post. Little too much contact down low, and they're getting handsy with Strain, because she's scored a couple times, as we see the Raider boys making their presence known.
Yeah, well, if you know you can push it in there and try to draw a foul like that, I mean, that's certainly a strategy.
Short corner jumper's good. McVicker converts with the contact.
I mean, her X factor is on right now. Like we just said a couple of minutes ago, she could take over this game in a second. If she starts making shots, I mean, that is beyond a high school level shot right there. That is really an impressive thing she just did.
That's elite shot making, to absorb the contact, maintain balance, and find a way to convert. Free throw won't quite go, but the Raiders now up by 7. 26-19 here with 15 to go. Schaefer thought about a 3. Now it's going to be kicked out. Top of that key is good for Kylie Smith.
Now this possession is critical because they had their little run. We've seen them go on a counter run, go the other way, try to stop the growing momentum there from Eastview off of the 3.
Now into the post. That's Strain going up. Layup and one! The Raiders going punch for punch right now with Eastview.
Splitting a double team. We'll take a look at this on the replay, but just watch this. Look at the finesse just to get the ball underneath. Both players come up on the other side and make the bucket and have a chance at an and one here. Free throw won't go. Rebound had a chance to put it back.
And it will stay Hastings' possession. So, I mean, the Raiders playing really good basketball through this first 3 minutes of the second half.
And it's funny how that works out. You never want to see that happen. You never want to miss free throws, but sometimes it's funny because it works out like that. You end up getting possession, which is better than the singular free throw.
Absolutely. That one stripped, and it's going to go the other way. So Strain and McVicker really leaving a mark on this game in the second half, and that's impressive considering they're both sophomores.
Well, and I didn't realize this, but Eastview 4 fouls here in the second half. They're more than halfway to the bonus, and Hastings hasn't even committed 1 foul in the second half.
And that's a huge advantage in the second half of a playoff game. Three-pointer off the back iron, offensive rebound for Torrey. Beautiful pass inside to Gardner.
Of course, Hastings has to start making some of these free throws, but certainly a tremendous advantage.
And Trent Hansen wants to talk it over. After a first half that was plagued by turnovers and missed shots, suddenly both teams have kind of found a rhythm offensively.
And this is a very important point in the game, and I know that for a fact because Trent just called a timeout. He almost never uses a timeout in the first half. He uses them very sparingly. A lot of times he walks home with timeouts in his pocket because he doesn't use them all. So he understands the importance of a timeout, and he understands that, yeah, you're up by 2 possessions, you're up by 4 points. There's a long way to go before this is over. But this is an important, demarcating line as to whether or not you step on the gas pedal and grow the lead, or if you let Eastview come back into it like they did in the first half.
And it looks like we're going to see some pressure, and the Raiders will have to find a way to break the press.
It comes down to this. This has been the bane of their existence this season.
And we've got a foul call.
I thought they were going to call a travel there for a
I thought they were as well. It was one or the other.
But that is exactly how you beat it. It's as simple as that. 2 passes and it's broken. And then you have a man advantage on the offensive side of the court.
McVicker slashing to the lane. Oh, that's so beautiful off the glass. Lightning answer with a 3.
I mean, that bucket from McVicker is so impressive. I don't want to make a preposterous statement tournament or anything like that, so I might be a little off base when I say this, but she's a Division III basketball player right now, just playing high school.
And pass telegraphed a bit. This is Torrey on the one-on-one layup. Goes wildly careening off the glass. Raiders trying to push it. Nearly lost control. Strain into the post. Rebound fought for, and it's going to stay here with the Raiders.
McVicker walking a little gingerly, which is something to keep our eye on.
So we see a replay. That's word to Manu Ginobili. A little sidestep, Euro step, creating space.
You could score on a WIAC defense with that move.
That's unbelievable.
And that's the toughest D3 conference there is. You know that.
It's the SEC of D3.
That is what they say.
Lightning for 3 from the wing. That one won't go. Rebound goes Strain. And now the Raiders still holding a 3-point advantage, 30-27, as McVicker will cross midcourt, breaking down the defender. McVicker all the way to the rack. Contact, no whistle. And it's going the other way.
Yeah, McVicker not a fan of that call or non-call.
So with the 5 Raiders on the floor right now, McVicker the only one that has scored tonight. Her 14 and 4 zeros the rest of the way. As the Raiders will switch to, they're going to play a 2-3 zone defense here.
I think it's smart. Could cut down on some of those 3-point attempts, which have been starting to heat up for Eastview.
And good defensive effort there. Thought about a 3 from the corner. Instead swung around. That's Schaefer for 3. Got them all. And we're knotted up at 30 here with 12 and change.
And this is why I said 3-point shooting for Eastview was the X factor, because if it ever switched on, which now it has, we got a tie game.
McVicker corrals to the rack. That one won't go. Rebound goes Gardner, and it's a loose ball. Foul is going to go against Notch.
And McVicker needs to settle down here. She's getting real frustrated, which is not going to serve you at all on the court. It's a fine balance. That's a thing of beauty right there, that three-point shot. But it's a fine balance between force-feeding McVicker and having her run the offense. I think her trying to go for that layup there probably was force-feeding her a bit, but it's so hard to know in the moment what to choose when you're the leader of an offense.
It's hard to find balance, but they've done a nice job here in the second half as Eastview cues up another three-pointer that hits nothing. It's been high risk, high reward for the Lightning tonight with threes. As we see McVicker roll off the screen here to start the possession. Pass to the wing, now to the top of the key. Now to the left side into the low block.
I really liked that corner three attempt by Reuter. I thought she probably should have shot that one.
And McVicker will set up again. And she's just going to spot up for a three. That one rims out. Rebound fought for. And we're going to jump it up.
Little wrestling match breaking out there in the low post.
And this game has it's basically been within 5, 6, 7 points the whole night. Neither team finding a way to get up by a sizable margin.
Now this is huge because McVicker is out of the game, so we got to see what this team can do without her.
And this is the next 2 or 3 minutes without McVicker could essentially be the ball game. Going off the bounce, now swung to the corner. That's a wide open three. Rebound fought for. Offensive glass. And Maya Mall is going to go to the free throw line for Eastview.
Rebounds are so important, and I'm not diminishing offensive rebounds. Those are important, but you absolutely, it's a must. You have to get defensive rebounds. You have to. If you miss out on some offensive rebounds, it's not the end of the world. But defensive rebounds, man, you got to mop those up. And that is so true because if Keegan comes back with 9 minutes on the clock and the Lightning have a 5-point lead, that could be the end of the game.
In a game where, I mean, outside of the first 2 or 3 minutes of the second half, scoring is coming a premium. I mean, you can't afford to get down by 6, 7 points. And another offensive rebound for Eastview. Now this is Schaefer going to the rack, and we've got a block call. So Schaefer's going to go to the stripe. And Eastview started the half with 5 fouls in about 3 minutes. And the Raiders have responded with 3 of their own, and suddenly it's kind of hanging in the balance here.
I mean, the bonus is only the bonus is only an advantage if you're in it and your opponent's not. I mean, if you get there at the same time, it's a wash.
Yep.
So you had quite the lead. You had a 5-foul lead.
Schaefer connects on both, and now the Raiders have to break the press again. And it's going to be a jump ball. And it looked like Hansen wanted McVicker to check back in, but I think she's got blood on the jersey.
She has been banged up this year. We have seen her. I thought she was done for a while with a knee injury, came back. We've seen her get her nose caved in and come back with tissue in her nose. She's one tough customer. There's no question about it. If she can be on the court, she'll be on the court. She's bled on the Hastings court several times this year. I mean, she lays her body out there.
Raiders found a way to break the press. McVicker continues to get her jersey cleaned off.
I may have embellished a little bit with saying her nose got caved in, but she did get hit. She did get hit in the nose. I mean, it wasn't a squash
I understand
tomato.
There was maybe some creative liberty taken there.
Okay,
I think we understand.
Just for the record.
Physicality starting to be, and we get a shot of it. Nice job by our camera folk there.
Hey, and there's Bruce.
The legend. down on the baseline.
It's like, where's Waldo? He's always somewhere. There he is.
Yeah, and we get a shot of Bruce there as well. Nice camera too.
Well, everything's coming together. We got the A team here tonight.
This really is. I mean, this is
like an all-star team.
What do they say? The 27 Yankees, just a murderer's row of big hitters. That's what we've got working tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
As the Raiders turn it over, a little too much sauce. A 1-on-0 layup is good for Maul, and the lead is up to 4 for the Lightning.
Reagan, this
nearly turned it over. That one won't go. A couple missed opportunities there for the Raiders.
This is literally what I just talked about 2 possessions ago. You can't have Keegan coming back into a game where she's down, by 2 or 3 possessions.
Under 10 minutes to go here. Raiders trailing by 4. Lightning getting into the flow of the offense. Kicks it out to the top of the key. Taking it off the bounce all the way to the rack. That's Tori.
Just a buttery finish.
And it's going to be a full timeout here from Trent Hansen. A lead that the Raiders had stretched it to 6 early in the half, and now they find themselves in a 12-point swing, trailing by just as many with 9 and change.
Well, we'd like to thank Hastings Public House for supporting HCTV Sports. Hastings Public House, memories made local. Yeah, and you're right. And this is what I'm talking about. I mean, basketball, this game, it's a game of runs. I mean, we have not seen them just go back and forth, bucket for bucket. That's not how this game has played out. That's not how really any of Hastings' games have played out. And it's just who can have the longer run and who can stop the opponent on their run. And we're seeing in the second half, they started off good, but now it's certainly a run in favor of Eastview, and they're going to have to get a run to come back and even tie the game. Points are at such a premium. I mean, we thought it was a race to 35. It's picked up a little bit since then, but
it's looking more like 50 at this point.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be a race to 50. But either way, I mean, it's plain and simple, Reagan. It's black and white. You need to score some points, and you need to stop them from scoring some points.
And I think if you're the Raiders, I mean, there's a lot of things you need to do well, right? But for me, just based on the last 5 or 6 minutes of this second half, you got to rebound. You can't allow second chance opportunities, and you got to find a way to break the press. If they do those 2 things, I think they'll find a way back in this ball game.
They're killers. They're backbreakers. I mean, it's like Bane picking up Batman and just slamming his back into his knee. They're vertebrae smashers.
Oh, they go right to Strain out of the break, and she had a good look, just couldn't quite convert. Now this is Tori. Oh, nice backdoor pass.
I mean, Reagan, this is obvious. I don't need to tell you this, but sometimes it bears repeating. If you don't defensive rebound and you let them score a bucket and then they press you and they force a turnover, that's a 4-point swing.
Yeah.
These sequences really matter.
And that's Schaefer going to spot up for a 3. Rebound fought for. Strain's got it. And they're going to call a loose ball foul against Maul.
That could have been a killer if they would have gone up by 9 with under 9 to go.
And it's going to be bonus. So Raiders will have the advantage. They are 4 fouls clear of Eastview right now. Strain will go to the stripe for a 1-and-1.
Now what matters is not what happened on the court. What matters is what happened during the summer. How many free throws did you shoot? How much time did you spend in the gym? There's no amount of cramming in free throw work when you're in the game. It's all about what you did before this game.
Couldn't quite pick the pass off. Jumper won't go, and that's McVicker corralling the rebound. Pass up to the corner. That one's bobbled, and it's turned over. Gardner gets the steal for Eastview, and now this is Torrey. Now to the left side with Schaefer. To the corner. Back to Schaefer. A little stagnant right now offensively for Eastview. Schaefer going off the bounce. Stop and pop midi. That one's short. Strain corrals the board and gives to McVicker. McVicker splitting the defense, and that one's turned over.
And the turnovers are just killing them. The ball control is just not there, unfortunately, for Hastings here in the second half.
And McVicker not making it back down the floor. She came up hobbled a little bit.
Yeah, she is feeling it.
Oh, pass into the post. Beautiful pass. McVicker Strain for the layup.
And it's something with her ankle, or maybe it's a shoe malfunction because she keeps reaching down at it.
Lead cut back to 4. 7 minutes to go. Spot up 3. Off back iron. Rebound Strain. She's had a good second half.
And that's how you rebound. You go to the ball. We've seen in the first half they kind of let the ball come to them, and that didn't really have the best results at times.
Thought about spotting up for a 3. That one won't. Oh, backdoor layup. Won't go, but Baker's going to go to the line for a pair. And McVicker's hurt. I mean, she's hurt. She's limping around.
I'm not saying that Hastings can't win if she's not on the court. I'm just saying we haven't really seen it this year. Like, she really is the team in a lot of ways. She really unlocks the best of each and every player that's on the court that she plays with. So if she's out, I mean, that would be, again, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's very possible. There is talent on this team, but if she's not in there, we haven't seen it.
As we see Hansen talking to McVicker during the free throw there as Baker converts both. So the bonus starting to play a little bit of a role here as the lead is cut to 2 with under 7 to play.
You know, if she's seriously hurt, I don't want her to risk getting injured.
Yeah.
But I would rather have her out there literally just as the quarterback of the offense. Even if she couldn't run and attack the basket, even if she couldn't do these crazy, shooting moves and stuff like that, just having her out there as someone who could shoot the 3 if you needed, just a stand-up 3, and just someone to distribute the ball.
Yeah.
I still think that even Keegan at 60% is better than the alternative.
Her passing is elite. What she's done to distribute the ball tonight has been nothing short of exceptional. Little mid-range off the bounce. That one's good. Nice jumper for Gabby Force, the junior guard. And lead back up to 4 with 6 to go here in the second half. Raiders trailing. Over to McVicker on the right wing, trying to look for the post instead to the top of the key. Little spot up. That one won't go.
I just didn't have time to set her feet.
So Tori's going to call out the play here for Eastview. Now a handoff to Force. She's going to pull from the right side. That one won't go. Another rebound for Strain, and this is McVicker again.
It's someone has to step up. Somebody for the Raiders has to step up other than McVickers. She cannot do it on her own.
And McVicker's going to go to the line for the 1-and-1 here. I mean, you called it early. I mean, the bonus is it's such an advantage here. In the minutes where Hastings hasn't been able to get going offensively, they've had a couple chances to go to the line and just try and get a rhythm going and honestly get back into the game just because of the bonus.
Like I said, it's only a bonus if you're in the bonus and your opponent's not. So, I mean, you have a real – I mean, they've been racking up the fouls, so you have a real chance to, if you can consistently make these free throws, to get right back and overtake Eastview for the lead.
So McVicker good on the first. She'll get the second, an elite free throw shooter. And couldn't quite get that one to go. But it's a one-possession ball game, 38-35 favoring Eastview.
Well, thanks for mentioning that she's an elite free throw shooter.
Bad.
Right
I knew that was my bad.
Classic announcer's jinx.
And this is Schaefer. Now to the corner for Gardner. Smith, and dishes back to Torrey. Little screen near the high post. Kick to the short corner, thought about it. And they're going to keep running the offense and burning this clock.
There is no shot clock, so they could make this the last possession of the game if they really wanted.
We've seen weirder things. Schaefer goes behind the back. And a long possession here for the Lightning.
And I'm sure they want Hastings to make the first move and try to draw a foul and get closer to that bonus. They're only 3 fouls away.
Schaefer's going to get it once again at midcourt.
Time is more valuable than points for Eastview. If you have the lead, you're trying to kill time.
Schaefer spotting up. That one won't go. Rebound Strain. Risky pass, but it finds its way through. And this is McVicker. Raiders down by 3 as she slashes into the lane. Layup and 1! She'll have a chance to tie.
I mean, she's what can you say? She's the best player on the court. She might be the best basketball player in Minnesota tonight.
She's got such a quick first step. She can get by anyone. And at that point, you either decide, do you just let her walk to the bucket, or do you try and initiate some contact? And it's 3 points the old-fashioned way. We're tied up 38 apiece. Under 4 to play. This has turned into a really good ball game.
She's the Hastings girls volleyball equivalent of, or basketball equivalent of LeBron. Like
just doing it all.
Just does it all.
And this is Smith going into the low block. Now out to Schaefer, over to Torrey. Back to Smith. Her free throw line jumper rims out.
And I don't just say this. I'm not just blowing smoke. It legitimately, because otherwise I wouldn't say it, it legitimately is a pleasure to watch her play basketball.
She's going to the rack again. Layup is good. McVicker getting whatever she wants right now. Raiders have the lead, 40-38.
I mean, how can you not love this? How can you not be in awe of her performance tonight?
And I believe that's gonna be number 4 on McVicker.
That's gonna be interesting.
She has to stay in the game. I mean, there's 3. Yeah.
What is it, 5 to foul in high school?
Yeah, you foul out with 5.
Boy.
But I mean, it's a 2-point game with 3 to play. You just tell her nothing close. I mean, allow a bucket if that's what it takes. But
yeah, there's not even time to pull her out of the game and bring her back in.
Pull her up for 1 minute. I mean, no, it's.
But I mean, the last 3-4 possessions, she's been the best player on the court. So that could be the game. If she fouls out, they lose. If she doesn't, they win. I mean, it's probably a gross oversimplification of it, but could be.
Torrey hits 1 of 2. The lead is 1. Raiders got to find a way to get across half court. Oh, nice job there. And pass inside. Strain gets tackled, and she's going to go to the line.
They are getting away with just threading the needle on some of these passes. That's impressive.
And it's important to note it's double bonus now. So it's no longer 1-1. She gets 2 free throws regardless if she makes the first.
And Strain has been she's one of the better free throw shooters on the team, but she has been a little bit spotty at times.
First one won't go. She'll get the second momentarily.
And because realistically, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but 2:50 to go. If Eastview even hits the bonus is a question.
It's been a pretty clean second half for the Raiders.
What it really kills not to make either.
So the Lightning will have it. Chance to take the lead here with under 3 to play. Smith thought about it. She kicks out to Schaefer. Schaefer over top of the key 3. 4's got them all, and it's a 2-point advantage for Eastview.
And that's tough. Eastview took advantage of McVicker being in foul trouble. She was the one defending, as we'll probably get a look here. McVicker just allowing the three, which is what you have to do. You can't risk possibly fouling right there, otherwise you're out of the game. But it stinks because now you're down by 2. But it's kind of what had to happen.
Eastview head coach Molly Casper calls the full timeout. And you got to assume now with a 2-point lead, she's setting the defense and talking about what the plan is to try to escape here with what would if you go by the seeding, it wouldn't be an upset. But if you talk about the basketball they've played this year and their overall records, if Eastview wins this game, it's an upset. Even though they're the higher seed, right?
Yeah, I think that could be fair. I think because they have home court advantage, it's probably a wash. Like how they give 3 points in the NFL if you're the home team. I think the Raiders are slightly a better team, but, they're on the road, so it's kind of a wash. But, yeah, it's funky seeding. Don't get me wrong. These teams probably should be the 4 or the 5 seed, and however you wanted to figure that out, probably Hastings being the 4, Eastview being the 5.
And it looks like the Lightning will put the press back on. And nearly turned over. Raiders got away with one there. Now this is Baker over to McVicker into the post. Oh, picked off. It's turned over.
It was not pretty how they broke the press, but they did it.
And Coach Hansen is saying tighten up the defense a little bit. Because Eastview would be more than happy to throw it around the horn here for a while. Instead, they're going to pull. That's Schaefer for 3. And suddenly the lead is 5 with under 2 to go.
Still have 3 timeouts. It's not panic time, but it is most definitely crunch time.
Now, if you're the Raiders, you got to find a way to get points here any way possible. Doesn't have to be a 3. Just got to get on the board. Ill-advised pass.
Of all the players to pass it to in that situation, that objectively was probably the one you didn't want. They've had success throwing it down low, but yeah, that was a double, triple team.
And Hansen's trying to say, get up and play tight defense.
Well, yeah, if you don't play tight defense, they just stand there.
There's a minute left. They could throw it around the horn if they don't.
You have one foul to give. They get bailed out by the ball going out of bounds. But you do have a foul to give before you hit the bonus.
And Hansen he's going to take a full timeout here.
It doesn't matter what you do next. It just has to work. You have to run your highest percentage play. Like you said, it doesn't have to be a 3. It could be a 2. It's a 2-possession game.
Yep.
There's always the potential when you go for a 2, a 3 as well. But there's, a distinct possibility. If you go for a 2, you could also get an and 1. So that's, a possibility. But whatever you run, you have to make it work. You have to score here. There's no question about it.
And each time they've come out of a timeout, I believe it will be. It should be Eastview ball. But when Hastings, their first possession offensively out of the timeout, they've started the ball in McVicker's hands, and they've gone to strain in the low block. They did it the first possession to start the second half, and they did it the first possession after their first timeout of the second half. So I would assume they get some sort of action with McVicker and strain here late in the ballgame.
They're constrained because those are the only 2 options, but they're the only 2 options. What else are you going to do? You have to go with those 2 players. Unless you want McVicker just shooting a 3 from beyond the arc.
That's my bad. It is Hastings' possession.
Okay, you fooled me there for a second.
So it's McVicker down to the low block. Oh, Baker couldn't quite get the layup. And now they have to press. 53 seconds. Trailing by 2 possessions.
Have to make point-blank shots.
And if Hastings can't find a way to win this ball game, it's going to be the locker room conversation is going to be missed opportunities. They've had good looks, but turnovers have certainly impacted this ball game.
This is such a winnable game for Hastings, and they still might win it, but boy, it's going to be a disappointing loss if they can't pull it out. there's probably 4 or 5 things that if they did any single one of those differently, they would easily end up with a victory here tonight. Which, again, as we get the intentional foul, is easier said than done. You know, it's easy to sit here and critique what's going on because we're not the ones playing, but at the same time, there just objectively are certain things that if they would have done differently, you know, I don't want to take it away from Eastview if they end up winning because they did play well, but it really feels like if Hastings loses this game, Hastings lost the game. Eastview didn't win it.
And Schaefer makes the first of the 1-and-1, so she'll get the second, and now this is a big one, potentially to make this a 3-possession game.
Yeah, that might be all she wrote if they can make it 3 possessions. I mean, never say never, but...
And the lead is up to 7, I believe. That's their biggest lead of the night. And it came with under 45 seconds to play here in the ballgame.
And Reagan Hastings was up by, 7 to start the second half, or early in the second half, so that's a 14-point swing.
Okay. Raiders will have to foul here on the inbound. They don't get the call or either didn't foul. And now they're swinging around the horn. Nearly turned it over, too. $18 seconds to play. It's going to take... miracle might be too far, but it's going to take something special to win this game.
I would say a miracle.
I'll agree with that. Lead up to 9, 10 seconds to go, and
got to run your best 9-point play.
This Cathlish makes a bucket to cut it to 7, but Eastview defends home court, secures a 49-42 victory. So Eastview will advance Hastings as their season ended. And just like I was saying, I mean, and you kind of mentioned it there too, just missed opportunities, right? I mean, I would love to see the turnover total, because if you ask me, I would guess it's about 20, which is, it's tough to win a ball game like that. And the rebounding. I mean, we talked about it throughout the second half there. They struggled on the defensive glass.
You know, these are basic things. I mean, not turning the ball over, getting rebounds, and, you know, for everything that was made about the seeding and having to play a road game and probably being more deserving of a higher seed than Eastview, that discussion kind of stops once the game is actually played. It's, like I said, it's frustrating because we've seen this team play elite basketball for small stretches of the season, but again, I hate to harp on it, but it comes down to consistency. I mean, the consistency wasn't there, and they ended up losing. Now there's a look at the updated brackets.
So Eastview, number 3, Eastview advances to the semifinals. They'll play the winner of Park and Egan. You got to assume Egan, but anything can happen, right?
My Wolfpack might pull it out. You never know.
Hey, you never know.
Power of the pack.
It could happen. And tonight, unfortunately, marks the end for senior Natalie Cathlish, the lone senior on the Hastings Raiders squad, as we see a shot right there. And it's always, I mean, it's the toughest part of high school sports, right? When your seniors have their season ended, whether it be in the first round or the state championship or wherever in the postseason. It is a tough part because these are boys and girls that, you know, these are high school kids that have committed basically their entire lives to playing sports.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier. And, you know, it's a different level of pain depending on where you end the season. You know, it hurts to get kicked out in the first game of the postseason. It hurts a lot to lose in the final game. I mean, the only good way to go out is to win. So, you know, everybody has to process that in their own way. But this is a young team. This is a very talented team. I think next year is going to be, especially if they can keep Trent, even if they don't. This team has a very high potential, but Reagan, I've said it consistently throughout this game. It is just consistency. They play so well. They do some things tremendously, but it's just the ability to do that for 2 full halves. And that's the reason they didn't win here tonight. This was a very, very winnable game. Eastview didn't do anything special. They didn't do anything to boat race you out of the gym. They missed a lot of 3-pointers. They left a lot of points on the board. They got into foul trouble. It was a very, very winnable game, but unfortunately, the Raiders fall short here tonight on the road.
And we'll go through the credits real quickly for Hunter Pinkey, Max Slocum, Ian Andersack, Mike Bramer, and Owen Ely. I'm Reagan Hooverman saying goodbye from Eastview.